Well, good morning, vlog. Today is a very exciting day as I embark on another epic adventure. Today I will be flying all the way across the Atlantic with Westjet to Calgary. So if you're excited to see everything that's going to happen on this trip, because it's gonna be great, then hit the subscribe button or follow button below this video and let's get going to the airport.
It's looking like a lovely morning for flying. Although the bag drop line was super long.
Wow, that took such a long time. I don't think it's ever taken me that long to get through the bag drop at Edinburgh. Luckily though, I still got a good amount of time, so I'm going to lounge. Made it here to the Plaza Premium Lounge. And I found a seat with a great view of the runway and taxiway. And I got some pastries and a coffee. This is the perfect spot to chill with a coffee before my flight.
I'm flying today in Westjet Premium Economy on their Boeing 787-9. It is very nice, spacious, and the seat recline is really good. I'm seated in 8H in the final row of their 4-row premium cabin. I got this great shot of JetBlue Flight 72 to New York JFK taxiing in front of us. Today's flight is about 8 hours and sees us crossing over Iceland and Greenland before passing over the east coast of Canada on the way down to Calgary. I love how when you zoom out on the in-flight map, it shows the spiral of the Milky Way galaxy. Before takeoff, they offered drinks. I got a ginger ale, and after takeoff, they came around with some snacks. Not long after takeoff, lunch was served, which was lovely. A nice curry with sweet potato, bread, salad, cheese, and crackers. I had coffee with my dessert. A very nice tart. As we left the coast of Iceland, they slowly dimmed the cabin windows. This is my first time flying on a 787, so getting to experience this for the first time was so cool. While outside it's full daylight, in here it looks like nighttime. It's a very cool effect. For the next few hours, I stretched out and got comfy with this very cozy blanket. The recline and legroom is great, and with these wings on the headrest, it's totally possible to nap. As we got closer to Calgary, the cabin lights very slowly started coming up. For the pre-arrival meal, I had a veggie wrap and a scone with jam and cream. I really enjoyed this flight. The premium seating was comfy, the food was nice, and the crew were very helpful and friendly. The 787 aircraft are also really pleasant to be in, not just because of how they can black out the windows, but also because of the higher amount of oxygen the cabin receives. So unlike other transatlantic flights, I actually didn't feel tired after this 8-hour flight.
Made it to Calgary! Yay! It's so nice outside. Ooh, waterfalls. That's nice and soothing. Smells nice too. Beep. Canada. Well, I made it to my hotel for the night. Would you look at this hotel room? Hi. We got coffee machine, a sink, other things here. The bathroom, which looks so good. Bedroom. And living space, plus this awesome view of Calgary, as long as you ignore the big empty plot there. But there's a park over there across over the water, which I might go to. It is currently 3 p.m. here in Calgary, and my body thinks it's 10 p.m. So I gotta do things to keep me energized and keep me awake for another like 6 hours at least. And I've got to resist the urge to lie in this bed. But what I do have the urge to do is jump on the bed. Okay, in an effort to stay awake, we're gonna go get coffee. And there's like a place next to the hotel. You can see the reflection of my hotel in the glass of that building. It's a pretty cool hotel. Ooh. Okay, so we're going through here. That's what he said. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I got a coffee. This is a cool place. It's on like the second floor of one of these office towers. It's cool, like everything is connected. Yeah, the cool thing about like all of those buildings being connected is it's quite common in lots of Canadian cities, and I think it comes from the weather. In the winter when it's super cold and freezing outside, you don't want to be like walking around out there, so they just connect all the buildings. I think Toronto has the most well-known examples of this with their underground shopping malls that essentially connect all the buildings together. So it is currently about 3:45 p.m. here, which means that I have more or less exactly 24 hours to explore Calgary before I need to be back at the airport tomorrow. So like exactly this time tomorrow, I need to be heading back to the airport for my flight onwards to Regina, where I'm going to be visiting friends for the next like 5 days. So what that means is I'm going to try and see how much of Calgary I can see in the next exactly 24 hours. I've come outside my hotel and this is a cool area. There's restaurants around here. It's pretty neat. That's a cool little bench. So I'm just like walking through these towers using these bridges, and like there's nobody in these, but you can just walk through them. I'm outside again. I made it as far as I could in the air-conditioned towers. I'm walking back to my hotel. So far, the vibe I'm getting from Calgary is that there's nice pockets of spaces that are pleasant to be in as a pedestrian, but actually like walking around some of the streets in the city centre feels very like car centric. Tomorrow I have a walking tour booked in the morning, so it'll be interesting to see if that changes my perception of the city. Like this bit and this bit over here feel like nice. So I've come into the hotel restaurant for dinner and I have ordered fish and chips. So it'll be interesting to see what it tastes like here. Tell you what, this looks pretty good. I really enjoyed that fish and chips. And now I have a mint tea. It's funny, I really couldn't tell if I was hungry or not, because with the traveling, my body is thinks it should be asleep right now. But I devoured that fish and chips, so clearly I was hungry. Woo! Well, good morning, Calgary, and wow, is the sun bright up from up here. Coming right into my room. Look at that. That's gonna be the thumbnail, I think. Last night after getting dinner, I came back to the room and I was so tired. I was gonna go into the hotel pool and hot tub, just chill, but I was so tired. So instead, I just chilled out here and went to bed. And now it's like 7 a.m. and I'm feeling refreshed. And I hope I'm on Calgary time now. It's funny, I woke up at like 1 a.m. thinking it was morning. And then I looked outside, I was like, it's not morning. I looked at my phone and went back to sleep. But first point of business is to go get hotel breakfast, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so I have been told. Going to the club lounge. So apparently breakfast is up here at the club lounge. Sheraton Club. So having breakfast on the terrace here in the club lounge. Great spot for breakfast. Love it. Such a nice spot for breakfast. Love it. Alright, well, I'm packed, ready to go. It's time to say goodbye to this wonderful room. I'm going to drop my stuff downstairs at the hotel reception. I'll leave it in there, and I'm going on a walking tour of Calgary. So that should be fun. So let's go. Going to the walkway. Nice and breezy through here. Off to get coffee. Got my coffee, and now we walk through the tunnels. I mean, I knew I could walk down on the street below, but these do provide a little bit of shade compared to walking on the street, and also like slightly more air conditioned. Not that much though. Let's see if this door will open for me. Hello? Hey. There is also like the novelty of walking through these bridges between buildings. It's pretty cool. Cool. There is like shops at these levels, especially like a lot of food places. So like people come down from the offices to get lunch, or as they're walking through here, you know, they can buy food. I'm like literally now in a shopping mall. I just realised. It feels like there's a like mini shopping mall between the buildings here. It's kind of cool. Oh, cool. There's a whiskey shop in this one. Ooh, big shopping mall now. I'm going this way. Well, I made it almost all the way to where my tour starts without even going outside. I probably walked through like 10 buildings. That was legit like a 15-minute walk I just went on. Wow, so tall. Oh, I've stumbled into a sort of pedestrianised shopping area. Nice.
Our tour guide Daniel was such a great guide, and he really liked to get to know each of the people on the tour. Just on our tour, there were people from France, New Zealand, the US, Canada, and of course, Scotland. We learnt about how Calgary was founded as a passenger and cargo railway hub, and how the city grew up around the railway, literally. We walked along Stephen Avenue and heard about the historic buildings. Then I saw this doggy. It reminded me of Maisie. We walked past Calgary Tower, which at the time of its construction was the tallest tower in North America at 198 meters. Daniel then explained about the +15 system of sky bridges, and showed how extensive the system really is. He also pointed out that the system is in two parts, and while the city had planned to link them, that never happened due to concerns from businesses at street level. The city eventually committed not to expand the system any further. We passed through the Arts District. As we got towards City Hall, Daniel talked about the dark side of history, this memorial to Indigenous people and children in residential schools. The system was designed to separate children from their culture to integrate them into the dominant Euro-Canadian culture. For over 160 years, nearly 150,000 children were residents, often far away from their communities, with the last school remaining open until 1997. There is no doubt that the system has caused lasting harm to the Indigenous cultures.
We are in the Calgary Public Library, about halfway into the tour, and stopped here for a bathroom break and to get water. So it was designed in partnership with Scandinavian architects, and the roof is kind of looks like a canoe, which points to the Indigenous peoples of the area.
We then stopped by an artisan chocolate shop, as well as getting to taste the chocolate, which was delicious. They showed us this boot made entirely from chocolate. We continued to walk through Calgary, passing by this interesting looking art installation.
Such an amazing tour! If you are in Calgary, I can highly recommend Toonie Tours. They were really good. They have locations in other cities in Canada, but the Calgary 3-hour walking tour was so good. I feel like I learned so much about the city and its history, which was great. I also met some really cool people on the tour, so that was fun too. And our tour guide Daniel was fantastic. One of the other tours that they do is a bicycle tour, and they also do a art and beer tour, which you get to look at art, hear about art, and drink beer. And next time I come back to Calgary, I kind of want to do that one. It sounds like fun. Toonie Tours. And our tour guide Daniel recommended this place for lunch, and a few of us went there after the tour. It was really good. Just across the street, just down a bit. That place did a bunch of stuff like sub sandwiches, and they did the best tofu. It was so good. I had to find out how they did it. It's like a caramelized black pepper tofu. It was so good. Something else that I found on the tour is you can ride the tram in the city centre in the core for free. So I figured, because I like trams and such, I'm gonna do that. I'm literally just gonna go one stop, but it's free, so why not? That's cool. That was cool. Wasn't expecting to see one come through just as the one I was on was leaving. I have a couple more hours before I need to go to the airport, and I couldn't leave Calgary without going up the Calgary Tower. Yeah!
A lot of times, when I go to a new city, if there's a tower with an observation deck, I always want to go up it. I'd say Calgary Tower is probably comparable to the Seattle Space Needle, except you can't go outside. And if you're afraid of heights, maybe don't look down.
Do you like heights? That's the restaurant in there. Fancy. I'm in this elevator on my own. That was so cool though. I always like going to see towers. I do wish I'd went to see it at sunset, but yeah, unfortunately, I was also really tired and the Apple Maps location wasn't right, but I found it eventually. It was actually thanks to the tour this morning that I found it because it was one of the stops. It's just something I learned on my walking tour to help with orientation and finding the +15 sky bridges. Which, by the way, if you call them anything other than +15, it turns out they know you're a tourist. If you're heading north, they have a little icon of a fish. Because to the north is the river, I think, so fish. And west is the mountains, because the mountains are to the west. Oh, the air conditioning in this one's nice. Train for south, because the railroad is that way. And finally, if you're going east, it's the fort for Fort Calgary, which would be kind of fun to go and visit next time I come back to Calgary. I don't know what's there, but forts are cool. Oh my god, this one is like a sauna. Getting to this building is just amazingly air conditioned after being in that sauna up the tunnel. The other thing is like, I'm genuinely like starting to recognize all of these because I walked this way this morning. And so like I recognize all these buildings. Plus I know I'm just heading straight north at this point to get back to my hotel. I can definitely see why in the winter these are useful because when it gets to like -40 degrees Celsius here and there's wind chill, there's no way you want to be outside. Sheraton Suites, Calgary, Eau Claire? I'm not sure. Honestly, if you need somewhere to stay in Calgary, highly recommend the Sheraton Suites. The staff were amazing and the facilities were so good as well. Okay, so I have about 20 minutes of time left I can kill here in Calgary before I need to get a taxi to the airport. Do you know what's frustrating is the light rail doesn't go to the airport. Only buses. And it takes 20 minutes longer to take a bus than it does a taxi. Otherwise, I'd be like taking the light rail or a bus. But it's honestly just easier to take a taxi as well because I've got so much baggage. But my hotel is super close to Prince's Island and it is within walking distance. So I'm gonna walk over to it, check it out. It's supposed to be really nice and then come back and get my stuff. Like I said, I'm making the most of my time here, the 24 hours I have. Not even in the park, and this is so nice. I love it. Look at that. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, this is so nice. Oh, I love it. It's true what my tour guide said. When you come in here, you don't feel like you're in a city. I mean, there's a city behind me, but once you're in here, you could be anywhere. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to check out the River Cafe because it's a bit of a walk further along, but that does sound lovely. But honestly, I'm so glad I came over here because look at this. Oh, I love the buildings in the background. This is just the most idyllic spot ever. Go down here to the water's edge. Try not to fall in. Okay, that's as far as I can go. Oh my goodness. Wish I could stay here longer. I would love to stay here longer, but honestly, it is so hot. I'm going back to the hotel. Being outside all morning, I'm sweating. So pretty.
Well, as I made it to the airport, that concludes my 24 hours in Calgary. I really enjoyed my time and the things I did. I'll now be travelling onwards to Regina to visit friends, and then to Vancouver, which I am really looking forward to. There's going to be some great content to come on this trip, so join me again in the next vlog. But until then, thanks for watching.
So like I'm here in Calgary Airport and I'm like trying to find like gate A6 because it was like, I was up there and it's like starts at gate 12 and I was like, where's 6? And then I discovered you go down here and then it's like, basically it looks like you're about to go through a fire escape. Say 1 to 6. And you come down here and then it like, it has real like, I'm not supposed to be here kind of vibes, like, you know, where are we going kind of thing. And then like, it's like you get down here and it's like, did they just run out of money when they were doing this bit? Like, where did the carpet go? Yeah, it has real airport run out of money vibes about it when they did this bit. Okay. There's a play thing here.